Okay, I greet you all specially. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Yeah, welcome. On behalf of the Management of Study Globally and Society of Petroleum Engineers Port Harcourt session, we want to welcome you to this webinar. And today's topic is so interesting that we have a guest speaker who is sound, who is seasoned and an intellectual. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Yeah, welcome. On behalf of the Management of Study Globally and Society of Petroleum Engineers Port Harcourt session, I want to welcome you to this webinar. And today's topic is so interesting that we have a guest speaker who is sound, seasoned, and an intellectual. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Yeah, well, okay, sorry for the mix-up. If you can hear me, I'm welcoming you once again to this webinar, and I'll go straight away to the first agenda that has to do with the opening prayer.
Okay, welcome once again. Let's pray. God will thank you for privilege to learn again and hear from you. That the Lord will pray that all will be doing here. You'll help us through. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Okay, straight away we go to the next agenda. That's
Amen.
with the opening remarks.
Okay, good evening all. I welcome you once again to this month of June webinar. Of course, this webinar is organized by Study Globally Nigeria in collaboration with SP, Society of Petroleum Engineers Port Harcourt section. The theme of this webinar is International Student Admission, Challenges and Solution. Of course, we know that to get admission into Nigerian universities are very difficult, and much more getting an international admission. There are challenges, but Study Globally is the only platform that can give you that, that can take away that stress from you, those challenges. So I will advise you this evening that you should just stay intact, get your chair, your writing material, and put something down for yourself. And after the presentation, you can ask questions concerning the whatever thing you want to know concerning Study Global. We are out there for you. Now, I want you to know that there are key discussions we are going to be looking at in this webinar. We'll be looking at the bursary and scholarship tips, which country is good for you to study, applying for Chevening scholarship, the overcoming loneliness and making every point, every moment count for yourself. So as you stay in this webinar, just don't let anything to distract you. Just be focused. Be ready to receive. We have a competent guest speaker this evening. The house is fully loaded. You see people from outside Nigeria will also be joining in this webinar. This is the only platform that can facilitate anything admission outside for you. So just sit. Once again, I welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to this webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a nice one, Mr. Frank. I want to quickly give the floor to our international director, and Mr. Sento Surendran is his name, and he'll be speaking with us with just a few keynote address before when I introduce the speaker. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, hope you can hear me now. Good evening everyone as well. So my name is Sento Surendran. I'm joining you guys from Leicester. That's where I'm based. So this is Leicester from United Kingdom. So today's key discussions, as mentioned above, so it's going to be about scholarships and tips about scholarships. The keynote is that every university has these, so it's good for you guys to find out about those. The next question is, because Study Globally, we deal with more than one country. So right now we recruit students for UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, America. So we have a lot of countries. So again, this is going to be deciding which country is good for you or where you would like to go if you haven't thought about those questions. And then again, the last one is going to be about mental health. So it's going to be about overcoming loneliness and making every moment count. So I'm going to give it up to the next speaker. So enjoy the presentation, guys, and have a good day.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sento. And I would like to give the floor straight away to the introduction of the speaker, and that will be handled by a friend of mine, a colleague. So over to you, madam.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to really want to introduce our guest speaker for today. Her name is Kusemise. She's from Akwa Ibom State. She was born September 9th. She got her first degree from University of Uyo, where she graduated with a second-class offer in 2016. She proceeded to the Nigerian Law School, Lagos, and she bagged a first-class degree in 2017. This made her the first female lawyer from the University of Uyo to bag a first class in the Nigerian Law School. Kusemise is she's a Chevening scholar, she's a lawyer, she's a peace advocate, and she's an information sharer. She is currently a global alumni volunteer for Queen Mary University, London. She's a lifestyle queen. She currently owns a YouTube channel where she shares her experiences on foreign admissions and everything pertaining to studying abroad. Join me this evening as I welcome her to speak to us on issues pertaining to studying abroad. Welcome, ma'am.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. I see that you are Nsevong, so apparently you're from Akwa Ibom as well. So thank you so much. I hope that you can hear me clearly and you can see me.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, can I proceed to share my slides now?
Yeah,
Please go
you
ahead.
can. Okay. Can you see my slide now? Can you see my slide now?
Yes, I can from my end, please.
Okay. So hi, everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. My name is Kusemise, as you know, or as you have heard.
Sorry, please. I don't think this is, we'll start from the beginning. This slide, we are saying thank you for listening.
Oh, really? Let me see. So I'm going to do that again. Are you still saying thank you for listening?
No, you've
So it's from the beginning. So
Okay.
I put it on slide mode. That should be on full screen.
It's on full screen on my laptop. Is it
It's on full screen on your laptop.
Yeah. It's on full screen.
You need to click the PowerPoint show.
It's on full
Because
screen
if
on
you
my
click the
laptop.
show, if you click the show, the left, we will not be seeing the left-hand side slides. We are still seeing your slides.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
We're not supposed to see your slides.
I'm going to do this the third time because it is on full screen.
Yeah, if it comes back like that again, you just go up. Yeah, it's still like that. Just go up. Normally, you should see PowerPoint show or something. Then, or there's a sign at the bottom part.
Can I come in to assist her? On the lower part of the screen, you can see something that looks like a screen beside the Zoom button. The last one, yes. Click that one now.
Is it okay now?
Perfect.
Yes,
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so hi everyone. Today I have been asked to speak on international universities admission, challenges of international students. I'm aware that you all may not have the same, intentions of coming to UK because I'm currently in London. I'm studying at Queen Mary University of London, and so some people may want to go to Australia, others may want to go to Canada. But one thing I have noticed is that when it has to do with universities abroad, most of them have similar requirements. Then there may just be little peculiarities here and there. So the things I'm going to share today is basically the general requirements that you're going to see and the challenges that would maybe apply across board. But if you have any peculiar questions, you may throw it in the comment section, and if I'm able to answer, that's fine. If I'm not, I'm sure that the team at Study Global, they are capable of answering your questions. So that's what my presentation is going to be about. And I'm also aware that the audience, we have a mix of audience. There are people who are interested in undergraduate studies. I am currently doing a postgraduate master's degree. So forgive me if I may not be able to address everything that concerns undergraduates because I didn't do my undergraduate studies here. I did it back at home in Nigeria. So I'm going to try as much as possible to address any questions that has to do with undergraduate studies if I have the information. But if not, I'm sure that Study Global can address it as well. And I could also ask a few questions over here and get back to you guys later. And for these slides, I just made them like 10 minutes ago. So please forgive me if they are not as comprehensive as you may want it. And if you see any errors, just close your eyes and pretend that they are not there, okay? All right, please, if there's any issue, you can feel free to interrupt me because as I am now, I can't even see anybody. I'm only looking at my slides, so it's very boring. So please feel free to interrupt me. And if there's any question in the comments or in the chat box, let someone alert me, please. So when it has to do with universities admission, this is how it works. Generally, the schools will ask for, if you're applying for a postgraduate studies, they will ask for your undergraduate transcripts, usually the official transcripts from school. If you're applying for an undergraduate studies, they would ask for your WAEC certificates, WAEC results. They want to know exactly what you scored in the different courses, in the different subjects. And usually they want the best grades. And then there's always the test of English language certificate. This is it's just a test to show that you are able to communicate in English. Some people have made the arguments that as Nigerians, we're not supposed to be writing this test any longer because apparently we communicate in English. English is used in, communicating in school, in the workplace and all. But, some schools over here still insist that you have to, submit the IELTS or the English language requirements. So there are lots of English language tests. if you're coming to the UK, most of the schools will be asking for IELTS. But if you're going to US, there's another one called TOEFL. There are a lot of tests. But what usually happens is that the university on their specific admissions website will specify the different kinds of English language tests they accept and the grades. Okay, they'll say, okay, if you're applying for an LLM, we need you to write an IELTS and we need you to score overall 8 points or 7.5. So you will take a cue from there. So once you identify the universities you want to apply to, then you can know what their English language requirement is. And then we go to the reference letters. Usually for undergraduate studies, they would ask for 2 academic references, obviously. But for postgraduate studies, they would ask for either, work or academic reference. Usually it's 2 reference letters, one from one from your boss, work academic reference, and the other one, what am I saying? One from your workplace, that's a work reference. The other one from your academic, maybe your professors or your project supervisor or your dean of faculty. But by all means, it has to be a reputable member of the faculty that you did your undergraduate degree or your the last academic steps you have taken. And then this one is the personal statement. The personal statement is your motivation letter, like where you're trying to sell yourself and give them why exactly you are applying to the university. And then when it has to do with undergraduate requirements, undergraduate degree requirements for those who are doing postgraduate studies, the majority of schools would ask for equivalent of a 2-1 degree, that's second class upper. So they would say, we want an equivalent of second class upper degrees for countries who have a different grading system. You would have to subject that your certificate or your transcript to be graded and be sure that, okay, it meets this requirement. But the thing is that most of these requirements, I think the one that you cannot do without is a transcript from undergraduate studies if you're going for a postgraduate degree, and the reference letters. When it has to do with English language requirements and the 2-1 requirements, I think it is just a way for, all these Ivy League universities like the Harvards, the Cambridge, the Oxfords, and in UK they call them the Russell Group of Schools. So if you browse a list of the Russell Group of Schools, you would see all the universities that make up the Russell Group of Schools. These are like the highest ranked universities in UK. So because they are highly ranked, obviously they will get lots and lots of applications around the world. So for me, I feel like these requirements, like the English certificate and the 2-1 requirements and first class requirements, is a way of limiting the number of applicants. Because once you get to, maybe you're trying to make your application and you get to the point where you do not meet these requirements, you cannot proceed. So it's a way of sifting the application so that the burden is also reduced on their part because they will not be able to admit everybody. But some other universities that may not necessarily be Ivy League schools or in the Russell Group doesn't mean they are not good, but it only means that their requirements are less stringent. Another one is the personal statement is a compulsory requirement. Some schools would ask you specific questions for you to answer in the personal statement. Other schools will not. They will just ask you to upload a personal statement. And if they ask you to upload a personal statement, it is your own place to convince them that you deserve to be admitted. So that's you selling yourself. That's you telling them why you think you are the best candidate to be admitted for that particular course. Now, let's go to the challenges, because I actually came here last year, September, and I had admissions in 7 different universities. So I can boldly tell you that I've seen a lot. So there are so many challenges, but the few that I was able to identify, the ones that are, always coming up considerably, is usually this whole degree thing. So like the undergraduate degree, 2-1, 2-2 wahala. And there's people who made third class who would also want to do a master's degree. And I don't think that they should be limited from proceeding further in their studies if they didn't make it to maybe having 2-1 or 2-2 during undergraduate. So this is always a major challenge. If you're coming here for an undergraduate degree and you know that you are currently in maybe secondary school, or you have somebody who is interested in doing an undergraduate degree here and they are in high school, that's secondary school, you need to advise them to buckle up on their grades, because usually they will not just take your WAEC results simply because you passed. They are going to check, what did you score in biology? What did you score in English? What did you score in maths? You know, they want all the A grades possible. And the thing is that the higher your grades, the more advantage you have. Nobody is saying that if you don't make A's, you're not going to get into university or you're not going to get a master's degree. No, it only just gives you more options. For instance, if Cambridge University says we are not taking anyone below 2-1, and you have a third class or a 2-2, it only means you have been limited. You cannot apply to Cambridge. But if I have a first class, and Cambridge says we take first class, the Ivy League says we take first class, the small universities take first class, it only means I have lots of options. I can choose and make, you know, whichever university I want to apply to. So usually when you hear people on Twitter saying, your degree or what you graduated with doesn't matter, it's true. It may not matter in certain circumstances, but it matters in other circumstances. So you have to look at what you want for yourself and decide for your life. I feel like it just makes life easier for you, because I know some applications that, for the fact that I had a first class in law school, this is non-negotiable. I can apply for it. Applying for it does not mean I'm going to get it. It only means I have the opportunity to apply. But when they limit to maybe that first class 2-2 and you didn't get there, then your options are very limited, okay? So that's what I had to say about the grades. And another thing is, usually for master's degree, it is preferred that you also combine it with work experience. If you're currently working, that's superb. And especially if, for instance, I'm a qualified lawyer in Nigeria. I worked in a law firm, and then I moved on to work as an in-house counsel, still in the capacity of a legal practitioner. And then I'm applying for an LLM degree in the UK. So it is very easy. My career trajectory is in the same field and all of that. So it's easier for me to convince them that, oh, I did well academically, I have work experience, I'm going to contribute to the discussions and research in class if you give me the admission. So, but if maybe you studied business and you now want to move into engineering, you have to convince them why you think that career switch is important for you. So you have to go an extra mile to explain in your personal statement. And sometimes some schools do not take it. And the thing is, you would also see, if you check the university website and the course you want to offer, you would also likely see the list of undergraduate degrees that are capable or they can admit for that postgraduate course. Okay, this does not apply to those coming for undergraduate studies. If you're coming for undergraduate studies, you want to do a science course, you want to do computer, you already know you need your STEM, your maths, your sciences, the courses or the subjects that cover the sciences, you have to get really good grades. But English language is non-negotiable. You need at least a B or an A, okay? If you have a C, they usually just still put a cap. Has to be like maybe C5 or something. But I don't think they take Ds, okay? If you're coming to do an undergraduate degree. So if you're coming to do an undergraduate degree, that your WAEC result is going to be very important. If you're coming to do a postgraduate degree, what you came out with during your undergraduate is very important. However, work experience would boost whatever you came out with. So for instance, you made a third class in your undergraduate studies, but you've had 3 years work experience, 4 years work experience in that field. You are better off than somebody who is just graduating without an experience. So in your personal statements, you can express yourself and show how you've been able to apply what you learned in school, how the experience, and then with your experience at the workplace, it is very easy for you to convince them. and to also draw a career trajectory, career path to, okay, I want to study this because I want to be this, I want to be that. And my interest in studying this is based on my experience at work because I have done this and I have done that. So if you have work experience, you are on the right track. And so I said here, the borderline cases where candidates has, so if the requirement is a 2-1, and we all know that in Nigeria, except it has changed, but back during my time, 2-1 was 3.5. So, but then you had 3.45. Okay, it is okay for you to express yourself in your personal statement that, okay, I am aware that the requirements for this course is an equivalent of a 2-1, which is a 3.5 CGPA, but I can boldly say that I made a 3.45. That is very close to, 2-1. And perhaps you have always been on 2-1 from year 1 to year 4, and something happened, and then you fell into having 3.45. You still believe that you're qualified to apply, okay? Do not just ignore. When you see a requirement and you know you haven't met it, don't try to ignore and think they will not know. They will know. But it is in your place to convince them that, yes, I'm aware this is what you want, but you can still take me after all because I also can meet it in other ways, okay? Especially if you have work experience, that's very easy for you. Then let's talk about this English language test. So I have a YouTube channel, like you heard. I talk about most of these things because I also went through the challenge. So I am in Queen Mary University of London, and it is one of the Russell Group of schools that insist that you have to submit an English language test requirement. I wouldn't say maybe unfortunately for me, or I would say based on circumstances, I applied during COVID, and I had paid for my English to write IELTS, with the British Council in Nigeria, but IELTS was postponed indefinitely. And as a Chevening scholar, you first have to give Chevening an unconditional letter from a university before Chevening gives you your final award letter. And as at the time, I didn't write my IELTS. I had a conditional offer from my school, and I'm like, Queen Mary, can you give me an unconditional offer because I need to get this scholarship? And then Queen Mary is telling me, oh, Kuseme, we're so sorry that IELTS has been indefinitely postponed in Nigeria. It is not our fault. They spoke all the English in the world. At the end of the day, they refused to waive. And I'm like, what do you guys want me to do? They now started bringing up alternative tests that you could take, Duolingo. There were online tests as well that universities, as at that time last year, were taking because IELTS was, postponed. But, I think that IELTS is more recognized. So my fear was I didn't want to write just any random test out there so that after spending money to write that test, somebody comes to tell you, oh, we are so sorry, we cannot take this test. Or Queen Mary decides to take it, and if I want to approach Oxford, because I also applied to Oxford, Queen Mary takes it, and then Oxford says, no, we can't take it. So I didn't want to waste my money. I really needed to write IELTS, and since IELTS was postponed indefinitely, I told them that I'm not going to write any other test, and they have to give me an unconditional offer because I deserve it. Like, am I not speaking English? All the letters I wrote to you guys, all the personal statements, is it not in English I'm speaking? I schooled in Nigeria and we speak English. We speak English in school. We speak English at work. There's no English I don't speak for these people. Anyways, long and short of the story is that there are always alternative requirements to this English language test, okay? If you are careful and if you're observant enough, you would see that in the admissions requirements or eligibility requirements, when they list all these English language requirements and the test, there is a section where they ask for alternative qualifications. And most times it's usually country specific. In some websites, you'll see something like, okay, there are alternative requirements for people in specific countries, and you should click the link to see if your country is part of them. So usually some schools take WAEC or your NACO results if your English was at least a C5. So if you did that, if you had at least a C5 in English, they'll tell you can upload your requirements. Although some schools, also require that your WAEC shouldn't be older than 5 years ago. But I don't see how that really is going to work, because you're saying that the person just left uni and wants to do a postgraduate degree. But the long and short of the story is that it is about your negotiation skills, your persuasion skills. Whatever requirement they are asking for that you feel like you don't have and you cannot get within the timeline, always try to convince them otherwise for them to give you whatever you want, okay? Try to show them that you deserve it and you can basically, whatever requirement they want, just try to let them know that they will not be at a disadvantage if they take you without that particular requirement. So what I did was, I kept on sending them emails. When they reply me telling them, oh, we are so sorry, we cannot, I send another one. I make another request. So at the end of the day, I was asked to get a letter from the registrar of my university where I did my undergraduate degree, showing that my program was done in English and that I can speak and write English comfortably. I was like, is it that one? See me running now. I had to and you know, that time there was COVID and my university, there were people, they were not in school and everything, but I had to go out of my way and make sure that I get that letter. So what I would advise is that if you're applying to a school that insists that you must submit an IELTS certificate or an English language certificate, and you know that you either do not want to write or you don't have the money to write, because these tests are expensive. IELTS is about 70-something thousand, if not more. If you don't have the money to write these tests, get this letter. When you are uploading other documents, upload that letter. And then you can also include it in your personal statement that you have a copy of this letter, okay? Which they should take, which they should take as an alternative to the English language certificate. So this link that I put here is a link to my YouTube video that I shared my experience and how I was able to not write an English language test, but I was able to get into a Russell group. So if you watch that video, you will get more details on how you can navigate and, around the whole English language requirement. And then we have the transcripts. So transcripts are another challenge, because if they don't see your official transcripts, it's like you telling them, oh, I had a first class from Nigerian law school. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. Can we see evidence? And you're like, no, I don't have evidence. They will not listen to you. So transcript is not waivable. They want to see the transcript. And usually when you're making the application, it is okay to submit a student copy if you don't have an official copy. But for them to give you an unconditional offer, you have to give them an official transcript from your university. So usually what I advise people is, if you want to go to school by September 2022, this is June 2021, please start applying for your transcript, because by the time you will tell your university that it is urgent, they will be acting like they are more important. Seriously, when I applied for my law school transcript, it took these guys 3 months, if not up to 4 months, to process my transcripts. This is something that before you leave school, it is ready. And then you write them a letter, can you send my transcript to so and so universities? And then they're sleeping on it. So usually get your documents ready before you begin your application, so that you have gotten everything ready, and then they will not cause delay to your application, because these applications have deadlines. And if you don't submit them during the deadlines, nobody's going to answer you. Remember, they get applications from all over the world. So if you are not in line with their deadlines, then they don't have any basis to answer you. But if you're within your deadline and you submit a student copy of your transcript, and then they get back to you like, oh, we see that you submitted a student copy and the deadline is passed, but we needed an official copy, so we cannot offer you admission. You can tell them, oh, I have applied to my university and I'm very sure that they will send it to you within the next couple of weeks, but I already, uploaded my student copy, and you can make do with that while I ensure that I get my transcript. I know people that I was working with early this year that universities had to reject after giving them conditional offers, they had to withdraw because Nigerian universities were on strike, and the guy tried as much as possible to get transcripts, and it was all to no avail. So I beg you in God's name, start now to apply for your transcript. I beg you. If you want to do an undergraduate degree, get that your WAEC certificate ready. okay? Because that way, and then get your references ready as well. If you're getting your references, get it from at least a senior member of the faculty, like the dean of your faculty, faculty head, a professor, of course, because there are so many professors here, so they would respect a reference letter from a fellow professor in a foreign country. And also know that references are very important. There are some schools that, apart from your grades and your certificates, your work experience, they want to hear from your bosses. They want to hear from your lecturer. What kind of student are you? What kind of worker are you? Are you somebody that can be tutored? Are you somebody that can take corrections? What kind of person are you? So some referees, I also have a video talking about everything about references. So you can visit my channel for more information on that. But I have seen reference letters where the referee just wrote 2 lines. Guy, they give you, some schools would say, oh, I need that. Okay, some schools would give an instructions to what your reference letter should contain. They say, okay, your referee should be able to state your leadership.
Yes.
No, but I felt you would have cooperated with us.
I just read that.
Hello. Can I continue?
Please go ahead.
Okay, so some schools would demand that would give an outline of what they should see in the reference letter. Usually they would either say, oh, you can get these reference letters from your referee and upload it yourself, or they would say you should send a link to your referee to upload it by themselves. That one is always wahala, because most of the referees would wait till dying minute, and when the time is about to be up, they start calling you that they cannot upload, there's no internet. And by that time, you'll be scratching your head like this. And so usually, if you go on a website and they want your referee to upload it, give your referee an earlier deadline. For instance, give them like 2 weeks deadline before the official deadline, because even when the deadline you give them, they will not still upload it. But you always have to follow up. And the content of the reference letter is very important. Imagine that you made a first class, you're working in the best company, and your boss, the work reference you're submitting is like not saying really nice things about you. I don't think you are going to be admitted, especially when it has to do with postgraduate degree. So first of all, the person you're requesting for a reference letter is very important, and the person's position as well. Usually I encourage people to do a draft reference letter. When you are approaching a referee, do a draft. What would you like to see in your reference letter? I'm not saying let your referee copy and paste. Your referee will just have an idea of the kind of things that is required, because some of them do not get to read these requirements because they are busy. Imagine you, for instance, I am a professor and you are sending me, I'm a professor of law, and I get up to like 50 emails from students every month asking for reference letters. What I would do is perhaps have a template of a reference letter. And if I get that request, I would just probably forward that template and replace your name. How about if this particular school asks specific questions and he doesn't have the time to look at these questions and give reasonable answers? Of course, they don't have time. They are busy people. So you have to do a draft reference letter answering the way the requirement is, providing all the details that is required in the reference letter. Attach it as a draft though. Don't say, Professor, use this one as my reference letter, because some of them may be offended. So just say that, in line with the, my earlier request for you to give me supply a reference letter for me for my university application, I have attached this draft just to guide you in preparing the final reference letter. So that helps. Okay, when I did that for one of my professors, he gave me the reference the next day. But if you want to wait for them to draft by themselves, you do on your own. No, I think I've even covered everything about reference now. Yeah, so usually it's academic and work reference. Please don't use your family member as a referee. I beg you, especially if you have the same surname. It's not going to be. Sometimes these universities are very polite, very subtle. They may not come back to you and say, oh, you submitted a reference letter from a family member. They would not just offer you the admission because they feel like you're taking them for granted and you don't know, or you feel like they are not going to know. So they're They're paying you back in your own coin. So, and then when you're making university applications, if you don't understand anything, send them an email, they will respond. Okay. And most of these universities, they have African representatives. Okay. Go on their website, look for their staff, and then look for, some of them may have Nigerian reps, African reps. When you contact those people that are for, you know, I had an issue and I sent an email to the admissions team and it was really delayed. I didn't get my response as fast as I wanted. I went to copy the African rep. I sent her an email and explained everything. And she has worked with lots of Africans, so she knows our peculiar challenges. She was able to take up the issue and say, okay, I'm going to get this done for you. Okay. So sometimes if you go through the authorized or the official channels and it doesn't work, try to get to the lecturer in that department. Try to get to, if there's an African lecturer in that department, try to get to the person. If there's an African rep, try to get to the person. If there's a student ambassador, try to get to the person. For instance, me now, I'm working as a global alumni volunteer officer for Queen Mary. There are people who are having issues with Queen Mary admissions. They enter my DM and I send them the right emails. I say, okay, email this person. If it is somebody I know directly, I email the person on your behalf. So nothing is cast in stone, okay? Here, they are very receptive. They are very accommodating. So, and they are very understanding, but they want explanation. Sometimes they don't understand your challenges over there. It is in your place to explain to them so that they will understand and make those adjustments for you. Yeah, so I said at times using one's undergraduate project supervisor can be the easiest way out. So yeah, basically that is it. Okay, so after most times, of course, we know that schooling abroad is very expensive. So you would definitely, some of us need scholarships, and there are 1,001 scholarships out there. It's just for you to search. I'm a scholarship recipient, Chevening Scholarship, and a set after mine have just been, selected, conditionally selected, and it was just published yesterday. And the fresh application cycle would start in August. So if you're looking forward to applying for scholarships, these applications usually begin they usually begin June, July, August, and till December, okay, for admissions for 2022. If you wait till 2022 before you start looking for scholarships, you would lose a lot of opportunity, okay? If you search now, you will see that MasterCard scholarships, Erasmus scholarships are either open or their opening dates are very close, okay? So that's when you can start preparing, gathering documents, and trying to meet the eligibility requirements for these scholarships. But if you wait till January or February before you look for scholarships, most of them must have closed, okay? And by that time, you would now have to look for internal scholarships. So this, for like MasterCard, Erasmus, Chevening, they are external funded scholarships. But they are university funded scholarships. I have a lot of colleagues who are being funded by Queen Mary University, especially for PhD, okay? I have colleagues who their PhDs, their entire 3-4 years PhDs are funded by Queen Mary University of London. Most schools have internal funding, and usually when they give you a conditional offer, they will usually send you emails asking you if you need funding, and they will attach links to the different fundings that may be available for you. It could be a full tuition waiver, it could be 50% off, especially if you tell them that you are a self-funded student. That means you don't have funding from external bodies. You're self-funded. Most of them would waive up to like £5,000 for you. Schools in US are very expensive, and they also have internal scholarships. Schools in Germany are free. They will probably just need you to show evidence that you can survive, you can take care of yourself, usually maybe between 3 to 5 million naira. You show that you can take care of yourself throughout your school period, then you would not need to pay tuition. I don't know about schools in Australia, but I know that most of the schools in European countries are either tuition free or their tuition is not as expensive as UK and US. But if you want to compare UK and US, UK is a bit cheaper than US. So even if you are a self-funded student, try to also see if there are ways that your tuition, maybe 50% could be waived, or could be reduced, or you could get internal scholarships. Sometimes, even if you don't get that scholarship before you start, when you come to school, you can still write emails like, okay, are there any scholarships available? I wasn't aware before I started. Before you know it, they could send you emails. Okay, we see that you're requesting, we have this opening, because people are always constantly funding people. They're always, all these NGOs, or they're always providing finances. So it might be that the scholarship wasn't available at the beginning, but towards the middle or end of your program, there could be scholarship, especially because if you're self-funded, you may not have to pay your tuition in full. You may just have to pay half at the beginning, or just pay the deposits and all of that. So always try to explore funding. Universities applications, and most especially finding and getting scholarships, take considerable effort. Research, okay? I may not, because I made this slide in a hurry, I do not have the links. I provide lots of links to scholarship websites. But what I can say is, if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a playlist, Stacked Scholarship. You would see lots of scholarships there, because what I do is, when I meet somebody who is funded by a specific scholarship, I bring you to the channel, come and tell us about it. What are the requirements? What did you do to become selected? When it has to do with Chevening, I'm sure I've uploaded almost 30 videos on my channel about Chevening. So if you want to know anything about Chevening, Commonwealth Shared, then go to my channel, because everything you need is there. So it is also important to have alternatives. Do not be fixated on one country, school, or scholarship. Have several options, and at the end of the day, one or more of them would come through. So I have people who I was mentoring for Chevening Scholarship last year, and some of them, I told them, apply to other opportunities. When I see other opportunities, I send it to them, apply. Lots of them were not selected for Chevening, but some of them got Erasmus, some of them got Orange Scholarship, some of them got Commonwealth Shared. But you know, the people that were the people that only just applied for Chevening, they weren't selected, and they have to wait an additional 1 year to do another application. So that's my YouTube channel, Kuseme Ise, and follow me on Instagram. If you send me a DM, usually I may not respond immediately, but if, once I have the time, I would respond. Actually, the only way that Study Global reached out to me was via one of their members on Instagram. So most times it's usually not emails. Instagram, I'm always there. YouTube comment section, I'm always there. That's it. If you have any questions, do well to ask me. I may not answer all of them, but definitely I am always available. I'm sorry if I took more time than I was allotted, and I hope that I've been able to, help you and guide you through this process. Okay, thank you so much. That's the end of my presentation. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of everyone, I want to sincerely thank you, Madam Kuseme, for helping us with this. So we'd like to go to the next on our agenda, and that has to do with the question and answers.
I've just lost you guys for a moment. Hi, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, go on, please.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so hi, Centaur again from Director of Study Globally. So just to summarize, so what we do at Study Globally is that every students, so we have a special thing with the university where we'll be applying for the scholarship directly ourselves. Okay. So generally you will see certain scholarships that's available to us that we'll be pushing towards itself. But there are some scholarships that's limited on spaces. So you put the application through, certain universities, they'll have a quota for 10 students maybe. So if you can act fast on those, so you put the application through, you get the offer letter, and then you put also the application for the sponsor, for the scholarship, then you're more likely to get those as well. So this is what we always say, get the documents, apply as soon as possible. That'll be beneficial for you. And from ourselves, we want to help you guys. We want you guys to get scholarships, so if you can help us, then we'll be helping you as well. Okay, so that's pretty much from what we do as a company onwards itself. Okay, so I'm going to hand it back to you guys for question and answer session.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Centaur. That's our international director in the UK, and he just tried to tell us that you just don't have any problems getting scholarships, just forward your documents to us and we will be able to advise and give you the right direction. So I'll go to the first question, and that came from one of us. Lua Busola asked this question, and I will direct this to Kuseme. And the question is, she wants to study in Canada, but she is presently having HND degree. How possible is it for her to study in Canada with that certification? Thank you.
Okay, with an HND, I want to believe you have done a diploma and then you did an HND. So usually, first of all, you have to identify what do you want to study? What course do you want to study? Then start looking for universities in Canada that offer this course. Then go to their eligibility requirements. When you check their eligibility requirement, they'll tell you a degree, equivalent of this, equivalent of that, equivalent of that. And you can, see that, okay, they can accept equivalent of an HND. But if at the end of this, your research, you are not still sure, write them an email, tell them that, oh, this is what I have, an HND, explain what an HND qualification is to them because they may not understand. This is what an HND is. I studied, you have to first do a diploma, then do an HND, and at the end of the, like in total, that's about 3 or 4 years study, and it is recognized in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. Just send them an email, and at the end of the day, tell them, am I eligible with these, my qualifications to apply to your course? And if they say yes, good for you. If they say no, ask them, what should you do to be eligible? Some schools would offer like some pre-sessional courses. Like in Nigeria, there are courses that if you want to do a master's and you didn't get up to like 2.2, you have to take those pre-courses before you do a master's. They have those things abroad as well. So but it is school specific. So you have to first identify the course and the school, and then get to know their eligibility requirements. And even if they say you are not eligible, ask them what you can do to meet that requirement. And I'm sure that, let me tell you, as much as I said that international, they get lots of applications, schools are in business. They also want students. And the thing about international students is we pay double. We pay more than the national students. So they really love attracting international students. So they would rather help you meet a requirement so they can admit you than just completely dismiss you in total. So I hope I've answered that question.
Okay, thank you very much. You've done well. Another question I'm going to direct to you. I think the second will be, I'll ask Mr. Center for the other one, but let me just ask you this question. What you've been saying about the requirements for studying abroad, one of the things you need to present is your English language proficiency, and that has to do with your IELTS, which you have mentioned. You have the test of English as a foreign language. Nigerians, as it were, many of them are afraid, not that they are afraid of writing this, they look at the cost of writing these exams. So they've written WAEC, which is acceptable. Now the big question is NECO, the National Examination Council. These exams that people write, is it accepted if perhaps one wants to study in Canada? Thank you.
I didn't catch the question. Can you just ask me the question again? I do apologize.
Okay. I'm asking that can NECO, this is Nigerian National Examinations Council, is another body that handles secondary school exams. That's those who write their final exams in the secondary school. So just the way we have the WAEC. WAEC is another board, education board, West African Examination Council, that handles that conducts and administers exams for those who are finishing from secondary school. So people are asking, the NECO certificate that is where, which is it accepted? Can it be used to gain admission into any of these schools abroad?
Sorry, Kashi, if I would take it from there, I'm not sure it is sent or particularly ask that. If I take a cue from what Kuseme said, she was saying just now that you can make a case for anything. For me, I have not seen any applications or any university stuff that says they don't want NECO. I have not seen. If someone have seen. So I think it's just for you to send it, let them say we don't want NECO, and then you can now justify and say, yeah, it's the same. And there's no law in Nigeria that says they are not the same. So for me, I don't think it's an
Mr. Barry,
issue,
so
honestly
in
speaking.
terms of, let me just answer the question. Okay, in terms of the qualification, so when you're sending all the documents, the universities, they want to see all the certificates, all the exams you have done in the past. So if it's a secondary school certificate, they do accept them. Some universities do accept them. So we appreciate you to send them abroad and send it to our application team itself. So say, for example, you're applying for masters and you only support giving us the bachelor degree, but we also want, we also want the secondary certificate as well. That is part of the application itself, and we encourage you to send them to us.
Okay, thank you very, very much for your responses. So what they've just tried to tell us is that these are acceptable. So NECO is acceptable as long as you can defend your case. It's always going to be accepted. So there's another question, and that has to do with Mercy is asking this question. It's very sensitive. He said, can a deferred admission, can a deferred admission still warrant you getting a scholarship? If you defer your admission, I'm sure you understand that, Kusem, right? That you defer the admission, can it still give you a scholarship?
The thing is that if you are deferring an admission, when are you going to resume? Because the scholarship is not going to wait for you. So first of all, the answer is yes. A deferred admission can still get a scholarship, but it has to be the year you are going for it. For instance, if you have admission in 2021, okay, and you defer it that you want to begin in 2022, then you have to wait till 2022 to apply for the scholarship, okay? The scholarship cycle that you're applying for has to be that of 2022. So for instance, in Chevening would allow you apply to at least 3 schools, so that in the application cycle. So for instance, if you already had admission and you deferred, you can upload that admission as one of your university admissions, okay? Because you already have it. So at the end of the day, if Chevening gives you that scholarship, you have to go to school that year. Okay, so if you're deferred from 2020 to 2021, then you apply for 2021 scholarship cycle and Chevening gives you, then you can go. But Chevening will not give you a scholarship and you decide to defer that scholarship. But it also depends, that one is for Chevening. So the other scholarship organizations would also have their terms and conditions, that you can also work around. And nothing is cast in stone. So even if they say, oh, you cannot defer, why don't you try to get it first? When you get it and you think you still need to defer, you can start talking about that. So I had a colleague, normally Chevening does not defer your scholarship. But last year, one of our colleagues, immediately after we were given our conditional offers, she put to bed. And she wasn't going to be able to make it for studies, with us. She was the only person who her deferral application was approved. So she got the scholarship last year, but she's coming to school this year. So that was like an exception. And that's like an example, okay? It's also about the scholarship terms. But yes, deferring an admission is not an advantage, is not a disadvantage in any way. And it shouldn't deprive you of any advantages that come with it, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Kusem. I have one for you too. I'm sorry I'm bugging you, but I know you are a little bit experienced in this. Okay, this one is from Uluwadamilari. He's asking, I want to study in the UK. I have a BSc Economics and also an MSc in Energy Economics in VIEW. I also have MSc Energy Economics in VIEW. I don't have work experience. What are my chances?
Your chances are very high. Like I said, I didn't say that without a work experience, you can't, get into school. I only said that if you had, I just used it as an instance. Imagine you had maybe bad grades in undergrad and you want to do postgrad in UK, you can use your work experience to convince them. That's what I said. So of course you did your undergrad, you've done the first master's, you can conveniently do your second master's as long as you meet all the eligibility requirements for the specific course and school. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is the last one for you, so I can round off. I got this question from one of someone on the chat box asked this question. So, do Chevening scholarship cover all courses, or are they restricted?
That's an interesting question. Chevening scholarship is not restricted. You choose your course, you choose your university and all. So it covers everything, whatever you decide to apply for. But there are other scholarships that specify the courses, like Commonwealth Shared would specify courses for you, and you have to pick either of the courses. But Chevening is open, whatever you want to study.
Just one last thing on the scholarship, guys, okay? So right now, with the COVID and everything as well, so some universities, what they're doing is any countries that's on the red list, what happens to them is when they come to UK, they need to quarantine for, say, 14 days. So some universities, they are paying towards the hotel expense. So that's something that we probably not covered, but we're getting more and more universities that's coming on board. Either they're helping 50%, or some universities they're giving full 100% for those students that's already pay the tuition fees and they had to quarantine in UK for, say, 14 days. Then we are getting some universities that they are paying towards those as well. Not every universities, but we're getting some, and we're hoping some more universities follow those suit as well. So we'll keep you updated on what universities are. I'm not sure where Nigeria is on the time being, but we have some countries that's on the red list or amber list, and these are the help that we're getting from the university itself.
Someone raised his hand. Richard raised his hand, and I'm giving you the audience to please ask his question.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. I have a question. My question is, I have a background in nautical. I'm Fusubuatan Richard. I'm a Ghanaian, and then I studied nautical science. And my question is that I applied for one university, but they told me as part of the application procedure, I was supposed to send an email to supervisors. But it's been like a month. I sent emails to supervisors. I followed the correct procedure, but I have not received any response from the supervisors, and it's kind of keeping me thinking about it. But I have not also finished the application procedure, and then as part of the application procedure, I have to also write 12 essays, and it's been quite challenging as well also. So please advise.
Is that question for me?
Yes, you can please answer.
Yes, please.
Okay, I want to believe that you are either applying for a research master's degree or a PhD. Am I correct?
Research master's degrees.
Yeah, because for research masters, you first have to get a supervisor and all of that. But the thing is, if you have chosen to do a research master's, you have to be ready to put in the work, okay? And if you haven't gotten a response from, the emails you have sent, send reminders, send like subtle follow-ups. And some of them is okay. Some of them may not respond, especially when they are not interested, okay? They get lots of these emails. And so don't be offended that they don't respond because you may not get a response from them. So all you need to do is keep applying, keep sending the emails. If you have to do your essays, do all of them. Some of them, if they open the email and they see that you haven't, attached all the relevant documents you're supposed to attach, they don't bother responding, okay? So do make sure that you do your proposal in the best format that has been suggested or recommended. Keep sending the emails. Don't just, depend on one school. Spread your wings across. Try UK, try Canada, try US, try different schools, try different supervisors. You can modify your topic if need be, amend if need be, and all of that, okay? But the thing is, just keep trying. I have a colleague, she's doing a PhD currently, and she's on a fully funded scholarship from Queen Mary. She sent out like up to 17 applications to different schools, and she only got about 3 responses. And then she was able to secure scholarship at the end of the day for 1. So you don't have to stop. You have to keep trying until you get what you want. You get a supervisor in a desired institution, and then you make your choice. So just keep trying.
Robert. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate so much. I'll keep trying.
Okay, thank you very, very much, everyone. Because of our time, we need to move and progress in this meeting. So I would like to go to the next, we are through with our question and answer session. We'll go to the next on our agenda now, and that has to do with the photo session. So, Mr. Uchenna, I would like you to take it from here.
Okay. For the photo session, please, I want everybody to turn on their camera so we can take the photo session. Please turn on your camera so we can take the photo session, please.
You may also need to stop sharing your screen so everybody can be on gallery view.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Onyeka, the SPA rep will take the photo, right? Okay.
Can we all see ourselves? I'm sorry. Most places are dark.
Some people's camera is off. Please turn on your camera. We need this for record purposes.
I hope we'll start taking the already. Just start taking it in 60 seconds. Don't be surprised. People are very allergic to pictures. So please, a little bit. If you make this thing count for the research people, that they have done a good job. So just mind. So are we getting to the end of the pictures? Because some people cannot laugh for a long time.
I'm telling you.
Okay, that should be all for now. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Onyeka.
Yeah. So I continue my, okay. So go to the announcements and I'll hand over to my SPA person to do that.
Okay, good evening all. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, I will be taking you through SPA activity. SPA is the Society of Petroleum Engineers. We are not-for-profit professional association, and our mission is to collect, disseminate, and exchange technical knowledge concerning the exploration, development, and production of oil and gas resources and related technology for public benefit, and to provide opportunity for professionals to enhance their technical and professional competence. And just as you can see on the slide, your screen, here in Port Harcourt session, we are the second largest in Nigeria, covering 6 states. And also we have our student chapters, and you can see the figure of our membership strength. So we have won several awards. You can see it on the screen. If you can go to the next slide. I won't bore you with all this. These are some of the benefits you get for being an SP member. And also you can connect with us in the social media handle. If you just type SP Port Harcourt session, you can go to the next slide. SP Port Harcourt session in any of the social media handle. You'll find us there. If you want to be or you want to be part of us, be a member of SP, we'll drop the membership link there for you to be able to connect with us. I will drop it on the chat box shortly. Just go to the next slide. This is some of our upcoming programs, like the first one here, which is the study group. We have our study group. We have about 8 study groups. So this is one of the study groups that will be doing a presentation, which is titled Transformation Path to Energy Mix. So this will be taking place on Tuesday, the 29th of June. I will also drop the link for you to register in advance for the meeting. And the second one there is the monthly technical meeting. Every month we have a technical meeting to pick a topical issue to discuss relevant some issues in the oil and gas industry. So this is going to be the technical meeting for the month of July. So the topic is renewable energy and energy efficiency in industrial applications. I'll also drop the link on the chat box for you to register in advance for the meeting. The next slide. Okay, I think that is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simeon. So we'll go to the closing remarks as we are winding down to the end of this program.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
No, who is doing the closing remark? I mean, we're wasting time.
Okay, so quickly, let me just appreciate every one of us for finding time to join this webinar. Study Globally has actually come to stay. We have our roots in the UK and we have our roots in Canada, Australia, and also in Nigeria. We've also had tentacles in some parts of Africa. In Ghana, we also have in South Africa. And now we're in Nigeria. And this is an opportunity for so many of us who are looking for opportunities to study abroad to cash in. The reason we are actually having an advantage over any other one around you is because we absolutely do our work free. So what this means is that you don't need to bug yourself about paying for anybody or paying for consulting fee or paying for any kind of fee at all, any fee at all. You won't need to pay that. And the reason is so is that we've seen that a lot of people have these problems in getting to study abroad. How? Because they need to cater for their school fees, which is their tuition fee. You need to cater for other miscellaneous expenses. And these we've seen and we've come as a company, as an organization, to try and cut it out so that we allow people, young people, fulfill their dreams. So what we do majorly is that we ask you to just send to us your documents. Once they are confirmed to be genuine, aside being genuine, they are complete, we'll forward them to our international office. And we'll now help you to choose 5 good schools. Also working with you, we choose those 5 schools that will help you secure admissions into any of these schools. Once that is done, we are 100% sure that everything we do is in such a way that at the end of the day, by the time you go for your visa applications, you will definitely get visa. We have tested this for a long time now, and no one has been refused visa that has passed through, because we do our proper documentations and we may help people to fulfill their dreams. Now, we don't just end there. By the time you find your way into the UK, for example, any part of the country or the world, you see that we help you to at least get yourself secured with the job. You have some placements while you are at it, is to make sure that while you are working, while you are studying, you can also work. You can also pay for your ticket for your living expenses. And even if you're on scholarship or perhaps maybe partial funding, you can as well begin to pay for those things perhaps that you're owing or that you borrowed while you were able to get down to the country. So these are the opportunities that we have as a brand, as a company, and we have come to help many of you. So you will see that when you come to us, we won't ask you for any money. We'll help you to pay this. And you might begin to wonder, how then do we make our own profits? Remember that we have partnerships with most of these universities. So that's why it's more or less like it's easier because we have our agents in these universities. So we partnering with them means it's easier to fast track your admission process. So like after this meeting, after our webinar today, that you can contact us. If you look at your chat box, you see our links to our email addresses. You can check us on our website. You can also surf the net and you can call on us directly. We have our phone numbers on display. And we want to sincerely use this opportunity to thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for being part of this webinar. Sincere thanks to you all. I will be stopping at this point and hand over to my colleague who will give the vote of thanks before we now say our closing prayer, then we can call it today. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On behalf of the entire team of Study Globally Nigeria, led by Program Manager, Engineer Onyekachi Igwe, and the UK International Director, Mr. Sento, we are very grateful to the guest speaker, Barrister Kuseme Nse, regardless of our busy schedule, for sharing a lot of insights on the challenges to expect as an international student and offering intelligent solutions to overcome them. It has been an interesting and interactive section. Thankful to all the participants for attending and making the whole section an interesting one. Study Globally Nigeria is a dedicated indigenous educational consultancy providing a one-stop solutions to all your international educational needs. Kindly visit our website at www.studyglobally.com/Nigeria. You can also check our social media platforms on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We will continue to get significant provisions to all the applicants. I want to extend my generous thanks to the entire team for such an appreciating involvement and the willingness to have expressed to finish the task. And once again, to thank our barrister, Kuseme Nse, for her profound solutions and everything possible to make this webinar a possibility. Thank you very much, Kuseme Nse, and to the entire team.
Thank you very, very much, Madam Pauline Mwamaka. So,
thank you for having me as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Despite I came in late, actually,
thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. We celebrate you. So we'd like to inform you that we'll be having this webinar every month. We had one last month, and next month we'll be having that. So if you have suggestions for us, you can also put it in the chat box, or you can send us a mail. If you know there's any burning topic you have that you want us to discuss about, we will definitely see to it to have it next month. And subsequent months we'll be having that. So I want to sincerely thank you once again. And mostly to our special guest, Kuseme, for finding time to be with us here today. Thank you very much. On behalf of the team, we thank every one of you. You are so important to us. And thank you for partnering with us and helping us to grow the business. So we'll go to our closing prayer session. And I would like somebody among us, any of the participants, to help us with the closing prayer, a Muslim or a Christian or any religion, no problem. That is accepted. Amen.
Father, we thank you for your knowledge you've sent across to the whole part of the world. Father, is a global chat, Lord Almighty. Even as your word has spread as the form of enlightenment, Father, the grace for us to achieve all this in no distance time, and you take all the glory in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, oh my God, as many that will be using this application in one admission or the other, this year, Lord Almighty, you will grant all and you will take all the glory in Jesus' name.
Amen. 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 Thank you very, very much. And do have a wonderful weekend, and see you again in the next month edition. We'll send you mails and we'll also post it on our social media platforms so that you can see. Thank you very, very much. We shall contact everyone who participated in this. If you need the slides, we'll send to you as well. And please keep engaging us, send us mails, call us on phone. We'll be there to answer you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. God bless you all.
Bless you.
God bless you too.
Oh.